Welcome to Thursday, May 22nd's meeting of Milledgeville Rotary. This meeting is in order. Please silence your cell phones as Halsey joins us in service as Rotarian of the Day.
Let's pray. Lord, we need to pray for these and many blessings. We just appreciate you looking out for us, watching over us, keeping us safe. I just pray that you be with this club, with membership of this club, give us the insight to make the right decisions to assist this community. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right, pledge.
Flag, praise for America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, four-way test. The things we think, say, and do. First,
Is it agree?
second, third, five, four.
Thank you, Halsey. Okay, Kristen, will you join us as Sergeant at Arms today?
We have a couple of people here today. We've been blessed with the presence of Tricia Bryan today. Our soon to be AG, right, July. We also have Catherine Fields, our speaker. And then Felicia Bly and Shadonna Solomon from Juneteenth as well. All right, we're gonna let you go. Got my glasses on, I can read it. 6197. Oh.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, do we have any prayer requests today? Any prayer requests? All right, well, let's go to committee announcements. We have the bulletins on the table for you to review, but we've got a couple of things coming up this week. There is a service project opportunity for those of you needing a makeup day today, right after the meeting. Erin Andrews, can you tell us about that service project, please?
Okay. So it's time to stock Millie Free Fridge again. We've already had some Rotarians get a head start this morning. Pinata and 6 people went to stock it with ham sandwiches and peanut butter and jelly. So wait, and then for impromptu service project, we made 96 hot dogs. We have chips. We have Oreo cookies. Thanks to Kathy, that was her idea, pre-packaged. And also in the car, we have 120 bottles of water and popsicles and all of that for just $200. Who would think you could feed 100 people for $200? That's awesome. So we're just gonna ask for a few people who can hang around to stop, stay afterwards, and we will put a hot dog, a bag of chips, and cookies into a bag, and that'll be a little lunch. And then we'll throw popsicles in the freezer and the water in the fridge if they're ready.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Erin and Cece and Kenyatta. Thank you too for stocking the fridge just a little while ago. There's gonna be some happy people on the south side of town today, that's for sure. All right. We also have, Frederick, there's something that you've got there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, who am I putting on the map today? Magnolia State Bank. Any representatives in the room? Magnolia State Bank. All right, so they got an awesome community drive that's going on. They're collecting items for the war veterans home, snacks, fruit cups with juice, pudding cups, assorted chewy granola bars, Pop-Tarts, sunscreen lotion, crew neck t-shirts, straw hats, puzzle book. Like to point out the colors here, he's already got his stuff, his care package already built up and got it all donated, so appreciate you for doing that. But they're collecting items at the Magnolia State Bank between now and May 31st. So if you have any items of that jazz, you want to go shopping and pick up some items, please bring it back by there. I can tell you this as a veteran who's deployed 3 times. We used to get packages like this down range, and they mean the world. Okay, so these are all war veterans at this home. And so I can guarantee you it's going to be very impactful for them to get that kind of support and those gifts. So please again, Magnolia State Bank, they're accepting it for now until May 31st.
All right, thank you, Frederick. We also want to welcome our guests today, Leisha Blind and Shadona Solomon. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a little something we want to give to you. But first of all, we're going to talk about your event for just a minute. Next Saturday, June the 21st is
14th.
June the 14th. I got that off of Facebook. Uh-oh. Okay, so June the 14th, Walter B. Williams Park. Is that correct? Okay. It's this year's Juneteenth festival celebration. So if either one of you ladies want to add a little bit more to that to give it some flavor for the group, and let us know.
Sure, I certainly will. Good morning. My name is Leisha Blind. First of all, thank you guys for allowing us to come and be a part of your program this morning. I didn't come to speak. I told them I didn't want to say anything. They sent me to get a donation. So basically that's what I'm here for. But just to remind everyone, Juneteenth is a national federal holiday, and it's celebrated from a time of history when the country abolished slavery. That's the schematic of why we're doing what we're doing. But locally, we are here to educate and make our community aware of what we're doing and what needs to happen and how we can be of assistance in helping any families in our community to be better. That's what we strive for. I represent the Harrisburg Collaborative and the community partners that connects with them. We have local law enforcement connected to us, the Board of Education. We run a gamut of community people, volunteers that come just like you guys do and talk about what can we do to make it better. So that's basically what we do. I want to say thank you on behalf of the collaborative for your effort and your thoughts of kindness towards this endeavor. Again, it's going to be at the Walter B. Williams Park this year. Last year it was downtown, but this year we're blessed to be able to spread out a little bit so that we can enjoy everyone. Everybody can enjoy the event even more.
Okay, thank you so much. And we're very excited to not only support, but be part of the event again this year. And with that, we'd like to give you a little something. And I think you have the physical check. Aaron, would you join me as staff president?
Hold on, what, wait a minute.
She's a part of the collaborative as well.
100 regions.
Thank you. And while I would just want to tag on, let y'all know, we are going to have a table and a tent at the Juneteenth celebration on the 14th, and we will be handing out some of the library books that we purchased at the book sale. So we'll hand those out to the kids. So we're going to need help prior to that to sort them out so that they're the proper grade level. So we'll come up with a time we can do that. And then if you want to come out that day, we do have a tent, so we'll have shelter, and we will hand out books to the kids.
What are the hours of the event? 11 to 3.
11 to 3 on the 14th.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Stephanie.
Yes. So, today we have Miss
Catherine Fields with us. She's going to talk a little bit about the GRSP program, the Georgia Rotary Student Program. She currently is the Executive Director of GRSP and was previously the Marketing and Development Director and the Program Director for GRSP. She comes to us from Griffin, from the Daybreak Griffin Rotary Club. So please give a warm welcome to Catherine.
Thank you so much for having me. I was thinking on the way over here, wonder how many people will be here on a holiday going into a holiday week. So a star on the refrigerator for each of you. I appreciate it. As a Rotarian, I have sat in your seats before and heard the acronym GRSP, and I have been here before, but I just want to give you a little bit more of some nuts and bolts and insights because we are hopeful for the 26-27 year that your club will be able to participate. And so this right here is a picture of Conclave, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's when our students get to showcase their local talent. And I was telling Stephanie, this picture makes me laugh every time I see it. The blonde in the middle is from Sweden, flanked by all the Brazilians. And they had a little dance that they were doing that required a partner. And so by default, Oscar was the guy in the checkered shirt, Thiago's roommate, so he pulled him in. And when they stood up on stage, I thought, what are they going to do? And they had a very soulful, flavorful dance. And really, Oscar's role was just to stand there, and the woman danced around him. So it worked out just fine. Since 1946, that's 79 years that we have been bringing students to Georgia for 1 year. And what that means is whether they're already in Georgia studying in school, and I'll talk about that in a minute, or if they're coming over for a 1 year gap year, our job is to develop world leaders and to build strong friendships. And this group up here is an early photo, pretty much in the 1950s. And I love the picture because on the bottom, the person with the bow tie is our founder, Will Watt. And in the next picture is his great grandson. And I love the longevity that that program has brought. That is all Thomasville, Georgia, the home of Georgia Rotary Student Program. And we try and get the students to, we now have a memorial plaza. And if you know anything about trying to have a naming opportunity, I had mocked my grandmother for years because she would stop and read the brown signs, as I called them, the historical brown signs. I now am part of that club, and I also look for the hummingbirds and I watch for birds, but I digress. So in that, just to say, I did not realize how important it was, every sentence was going to make on that brown sign, how I really had to do a whole lot of compacting at that point, it was our 75th anniversary where we have a memorial fountain dedicated to Will Watt. And I just kind of sat there going, what am I going to put on 9 sentences? So it's kind of like I was typing Morse code to the world just to say, like, this is our impact on Georgia. Again, I said our mission has stayed true for this many years. We are looking, as part of Rotary's core initiatives with higher education, we are looking to extend, build better friendships, lasting friendships, develop global leaders. And in that, we're also trying to impact Rotary around the world. There are some places, and I was telling Tom and Tamara and Stephanie when I got to the table, I was a few minutes late because today I was talking to a young man who's in China. And he is looking to attend Columbus State. He attended there last year, and he's looking to be part of our program through the Muskogee County Rotary Club. And Rotary's not offered in China. So that was just an opportunity for me to be able to explain to him that this is an outreach also. And when he comes to this program, which he actually got a scholarship this morning. So when he comes to this program, what he will bring to the other students, the ones from Brazil, the ones from Denmark, Scandinavian countries, the leaders in the United States, just that we would be able to recognize our similarities and differences. In your district, we have Rob Kellner, who's our chair, and we also have 2 directors, Meredith Deal, who's in Brunswick, and Dave Razzo and Warner Robbins. And what that means is those are your go-to people. If you have questions other than finding me, you can always look out for Rob and Meredith and Dave. And I say Meredith has hair, and we needed that for this picture because it was like we'll leave that there. This has a little bit of script on it, but don't worry about that. What I want you to know is some of you may remember this. This side of the room may be too young. This side of the room. Okay. Who remembers your anchor banker? It was a bank out of Atlanta, and it was called your anchor banker. Your anchor banker, he cares. So Mr. Thomas was founder of Anchor Bank out of North Roswell, Sandy Springs area, and he went on a trip with the Roswell Rotary Club was doing a a service project in another country, and there were 3 students who were GRSP students who got to attend. And it was during that time that he absolutely fell in love with the students in the program and all the things. So in his will, he left a bequest to GRSP for the students. And that is a 2000, it's since grown. The Roswell Club has invested it very well. And they have since grown it to a $2,500 scholarship. And we were able to give 2 out this year. And that's on financial needs based. And so the guy in, where am I? This picture is from Cameroon, and he's at Morehouse. I love his story because he basically said he was the oldest son, and his mother wanted so much more for him, and she put him on a plane and sacrificed him. She knew that if he came back educated, his opportunities would be better. And so, and he was talking about there are limitations for how much international students can work on campus and things. So some of the financial need just is not always met. So I love his story and his eloquence. And I've just never probably seen, I don't want to cry talking about him, a more gracious student than Jordan. He truly is, he says yes to everything. If Chandler called and said, I have tickets to the ballet, yes. If you said, I have tickets to a soccer game, or my kid's 7 and he's in a little league championship, Jordan saying yes. He said yes to so many things that it's been so encouraging to see his experience. And the other photo is the group out of East Cobb, and that is Shifa from India. And she talked about how when she got accepted to the scholarship, her dad called her and he said, I know a little bit about Rotary. I used to buy fruitcakes from one of their fundraisers in India. So it was just kind of fun to see the connection that's been made. But anyway, her story has been that she plans to, she's a double major at Kennesaw, bright young lady, and planning to go on to change the world, and does have a heart for diseases such as polio eradication and some other things. So hers, of course, fit into our mission and motto. This is a new scholarship, Lynn Clark's inaugural Women in Leadership Award. And that is when an anonymous donation, I mean, I know who it is, but you don't, $100,000 came in. That's a named scholarship. And so that person named it in honor of their club's trustee, Lynn Clark, who has been with our organization for many years. And so that scholarship is a $500 scholarship until we can grow some off of its profits, but off its corpus. But what I was going to say is, this young girl was so fascinating. We were trying to highlight the success of women in the program, and Lynn was one of our first female directors. So we were wanting to really spotlight some things. And so this student is was out of Gainesville in Hall County, and she sat under, she is working on a law degree. She also won a speaking contest at Brenau. She really, to me, was also very inclusive on student weekend. The students didn't always know. We're watching for a few things. So at the end of the year, the other one is financial needs. This one just had to do with leadership. And I actually don't have the other one in here. Sorry. The Will Watt Scholarship was awarded at district conference for those of you who saw Carolina out of the Savannah Club. Look at those shirts. This is our class of 24-25. Is Joy here also? No. Okay, shout out to Joy and Aaron. This is a part of our class. 2 of our students were missing, and then 2 of them at Georgia Tech were not able to leave that particular weekend for a district conference because one of the professors actually took the time to pick up the phone and call me. How many people really know that's not normal? And he called and he said, I just didn't want to say no to you. I wanted to explain why. And he said, we have finals on the Thursday and the Friday. That Thursday was the travel day, and then district conference was that Friday. And he said, I can't excuse this particular student because if I do, they'd either have to fail the final and their grades would matter, or I would have to either reschedule. And he said, because we're such a competitive institution, and in this day and age, there's cheating and sharing and things. He said, I can't do it. And I said, you know what? I hate it that they can't come, but I appreciate, and so we saved them some shirts. But because I had 4 students not attending and I had a budget that allowed for some supplemental contributions to clubs, sending students to district conference, because it was an unusual United Conference, I was able to call Erin very late in the game and say, hey, can you hook us up? Can we have our own GRSP shirts? And so I think she and Gerald didn't sleep and they printed us these fabulous shirts. So thanks. And Erin has me on call block, so I'll have to call other people. But I'm kidding. I appreciate, and you know what she said too? She said, I just want to help the program. And we were just walking billboards for GRSP that day. And if you're at district conference, hopefully you got to meet some of our dynamic personalities. And within this particular class, all 3 Rotary districts, there were 89 clubs participating, 25 colleges and universities, 25 ladies, 15 gentlemen from 22 different countries. So when they finished this year, that bumped us up to 3,856 alumni from 113 countries. So I will give you a sneak peek in this next class. It's not on here because it'll be next year. I do hope at some point we'll be able to put Georgia College back on there. But we have a student coming from Jordan at Toccoa Falls College up in the northeast corner of the state. We've never partnered with them, so I'm excited. She also, is it working?
No, it quit working.
Oh, just kidding. She also was so cute telling me about her home country, and her parents were missionaries, and they sent her to Toccoa Falls as part of a partnership with their church. And anyway, it did have our colleges partners on there, and I'm not worried. Y'all seen enough pictures. You saw the shirts, that's all that mattered. And so from that, Erin said, you don't need to see anymore. See, click. I will tell you that the young girl from Jordan was very serious. And she said to me, I'm thankful to be in the United States. And she said, have you had Chick-fil-A? I said, I have. And we were talking about some things. And then she talked about how her family had a camel at home. I said, we have a dog. And we were talking about some different things. And then she said, if I'm not married when I return, there's an expectation for me to be in a prearranged marriage when I finish my education. Just a reminder that we live in a different day and age. I'm going to give you a sneak peek on this. While she was talking, I started looking up something else. The club that sent a student to University of North Georgia, which is not far. She was kidding because she said, I just need to find a blonde hair, blue eyed guy. So I started looking, who's at that? So I looked and I started laughing, and I was texting my coworker. I was like, you do realize who's going to UNG? She said, oh, I'm already on it. I was like, yeah, okay, good. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not matchmaking. I'm just saying it'll be fun to see how that plays out. Because then she also said, just the customs of even a prearranged marriage, like the dowry that goes along with the bride and all the pageantry and things. So that's just a fascinating thing about when you get another culture together, and some things that we take for granted, and also some of the richness of her heritage and things like that. I will say that we are Rotarian based. We are exclusive to the state of Georgia. And part of that is because only 2 of us are on the payroll and everybody else is volunteer based. I love that our program gives the students the ability to be on campus or live off campus, whatever their financial situation becomes, and that they still get the benefit of coming to Rotary, and they get the benefit of a speaker each week. And one of the students from Valdosta told me at the end of the year, she said, I knew more about what was going on campus than some of my professors, because there would be announcements or things in the club, or I would get to go serve and meet people. And so I know that there's a richness to that. I also will tell you that Mark and I have been in discussion, and as is part of your board, that we are hopeful for 26-27 to bring Georgia College back in. Mark and Kathy have helped with Georgia Rotary Student Program in the past, and Kathy Cox, as the college president, is very much aware of what this program can bring for mentoring. I definitely say it's on 3 levels. The first level is the student being a student, going to college, getting grades. We have expectations there. The second tier is your relationship with your club. We want to make sure you plug in. We have discovered in many situations from talking to our students' roommates that they have said to us, your student I want to do what they're doing. They get to go on all these great places. They get to go stay with people. They have a big network by the time they graduate. And she said, I'm in a triangle. I go from the dining hall to the dorm to the classroom and to the airport. And she was like, I really have not got to see half of the state that your student has got to see. And I said, well, and the studies also show that there's a little bit of a better understanding when you spend some time in someone's home. I mean, you can meet someone on the surface, but when you come into my home, that's a different level. And so I am appreciative of that. I will tell you that I am going to attend, right now it's called district training. What's it going to change to? Club. We're still gonna, still call it First Bank, but then we're gonna learn the new name. So just kidding. District Learning and Assembly. I will be there that particular Saturday, but the day before, I'm actually gonna stop by the Dublin Club, and it is announced. They know I'm coming by for a social visit. It's also their changing of the gavel, but I want them to consider a partnership with you guys, just to be able to send a student to Georgia College. What does that look like for them to be able to contribute and stuff like that? So just know, on your behalf, I'm going to be kind of covering some ground and trying to find a second group. So number one, not just the financial load taken off, but to share the responsibility and some of the transportation and things like that require it. Our GRSP Foundation is headed by President Terry Atkins, who you know as your district governor-elect. So he has a couple of hats that he puts on. Within the Rotary Club of Milledgeville, there are 5 Will Watt members and 1 Hugh Thomas Fellow. And Will Watt is our equivalent to Paul Harris. That's $1,000 in contributions. I will tell you, this is probably a great year to spend doing this. If your club can reach $50 per member, and that means either one person contributes generously or everybody pays, $20 or $25 until they get to their 50 per member, there's a 25% invoice credit that goes on your next year. So that is a great way to contribute to the GRSP Foundation, but at the same time, earmark some money for your students the next year. And your particular club, I was looking, I thought I had that. Your club from 1950 to 2014 sponsored 60 students. So you definitely have a rich heritage in the program. Some of you may remember or serve some of those students, so we certainly would like to see it come back. We also want you to know another thing, that not only do we have inbound students, one time of year we send students away, and that's we have a partnership that's 76 years old with Oslo, Norway, and we send students to Oslo International Summer School for 5 weeks, and that's students who are from Georgia. They can have a Georgia address, but go to Texas A&M. I don't care, but they have to have a Georgia connection and an endorsement from a Georgia Rotarian. That application typically opens in December. We generally pick by the end of January, and then it takes a long time to get those students enrolled in housing, all of those things abroad. But I'm excited. I will get to go to Oslo, Norway to speak to their district conference in September 2020 this year. So I've known about it for 2 years. It's kind of crazy that it's coming up. And I'm a little more excited that I do not have to speak with an interpreter, because many of the world really strives on their English proficiency. And so I'm thankful for that. We also have a new partnership, and I'll take a short 2-day trip while I'm there to Aarhus in Denmark. And that is a university where we've just partnered to be able to offer summer school there too. That was the result of a student coming to Georgia, and their father was a Rotarian, a past district governor, and he knew about our partnership with Oslo. He also is on faculty as a visiting business person for the university in Denmark, and said, I want to make this happen. So I'm thankful for that. The last thing before I release for questions, to let you know that Conclave, which is where I showed you the variety show, will be August 15th and 17th. I'll send you something for your bulletin soon. And it is in Athens, Georgia, so not too far away. And you have the option to come to Friday dinner or Saturday. Saturday is the variety show, if you will. Should be about $60 a person, and that'll include your dinner and a show. And that will be the students getting to showcase their flair from their countries. It's a little bit of a United Nations. For those of you who always enjoy the flag parade, things like that, that's always part of that. And the year after it'll be in your district, it will be in Savannah in 2026. So I'm super excited about that. My last slide is just to tell you that we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, the World Wide Web, and I'm also on the road all the time. my phone number's not on there, but Tamara, Aaron, DACDB has it if you want it. I can give it to you. I hope that I'm here to be able to answer any questions that you might have, and also be able just to provide service and make the program something that you recognize that it's my passion, because I really get to see some of the brightest and the best come together. And at the end of the year, we kind of give a survey, and almost all of them say in their whole 20, you have to be between the ages of 18 and 24, but many of them will say it was the best year of their lives. And I get that, but I also know that we still hear from alumni from years and years and years ago. And I had a donation made this past February from a mother who was in Scotland, and she said, I was not able at the time my son went through the program to thank you as much as I would like to, but she sent a $5,000 check. She wired it, and she said, I want to put this in memory of our host family, or in honor. And so the host was so touched that years later, this was probably 14 years later, that this would come in and that this family was still impacted. So I've seen the beauty of the partnerships. I've seen what happens when students come together. I will tell you this in closing. We have one leadership conference, and the students almost always look at me with very sad eyes because it looks like a long day, and it is. It's a long day of peace building. We've had people from the Carter Center come in. We've had people from the Martin Luther King's Foundation come in, and they will talk about peace building and what it looks like in America, solutions on conflict, places around the world. And it's not until then that other students will stand up in that safer environment, because by now we've had them till February. They've had a little bit of time to build trust, and they will share things that are happening in their homes, in their cultures, that we later realize we are much more similar than we are different. And so that's pretty much what I appreciate about that. But are there any questions?
How many students do you have?
So this past year we had 40, it dropped down to 39. And I'll share honestly with you, we had a student come and they attended an all-girls university. That's not for everybody. There's that. When she got there, she was placed in an overflow of housing, even though I had fully had receipts from purchase deposits in April. This particular college put her in overflow housing, which put her in a girls' sorority house. Just so you know, I have one of those girls, and there were a couple of mean girls to her. I'm just going to put that out there. So because it was in North Georgia, it was a different part of the state, and it wasn't North Georgia, but now that you know, I'll just tell you, it was Burnell. And so she was in the Alpha Gam house, and I was like, oh no, I have a friend who's a former president. I will be getting to the bottom of this. And so they were telling her she couldn't use the front door, she had to use the back door, she couldn't use the kitchen. Yeah, Aaron's mouth is dropping. The things that got me so aggressive about that. So I'm going to tell you that she probably had some undercurrent combined with some external current. And then she had an aging grandfather that I think in her heart, she was convinced he was not going to make it. And she was from Latin America, or a Latin American student, and she could not handle the thought. And she just called me one night, and it was real early. And she said, this is what she said. She said, I've talked to the registrar. If I leave now, the club will not have a cost. I was like, can't you stay? I mean, I had so many people. I had a friend who speaks, fluent in her native tongue. And I was like, I need you to talk to her. And she said, she's really, the grandfather is her primary thought. Everything else is secondary. So to answer that, we went down to 39. This particular class, I'm looking at anywhere between 38 to 40. And I have 2 students from Turkey who are having a hard time with the visa. The countries that I thought we were going to have a hard time with, they got their visas. We're also 79 years in existence. We didn't pop up yesterday. So we have a little bit of a history where that comes from. But the Turkey ones, I was kind of like, they're not always bad actors. What's happening? So just learning. And I will say this part, the beauty of partnering with a school like Georgia College, because they're such a liberal arts institution, they attract a very diverse group. Their recruiters do a great job. So you're already attracting an international flair. Whereas someplace like ABAC doesn't have the bandwidth for that. So this, for your reality, Georgia College is, I mean, a great situation. You also have lake life, you have other things, you're not that far from the city, you're not that, I mean, it's really a nice little gem in the state.
We think so.
Although I always tell the student, I'm a Berry College grad, I always tell the student, you're my favorite, don't tell anybody, and they always do. So that doesn't work out well. But anybody else? I appreciate your time. If you think of something after I leave, definitely tell Tamara. I'll tell you this, and my one thought to you, my own club had a hard time finding one person who said, I'm willing to be their host. But we learned if we took it in small bits, and we do 2, 2, and 2. So can you be their host for 2 months? Can you be their host for 2 months? Because guess what? For 2 months, you can be the fun aunt and uncle. We usually have once a month, and that's once a month checking in with this child. Taking them to, they don't always have to go to the Falcons. You'd be surprised. Some of them love to go to Little League, something because it's American, right? Friday night football, the lights. And the one little girl said, I don't understand this game. Okay, fine. But she went to enough those games that when she went to the Georgia game, she had a little bit of understanding this was not a disco. You know, she's concerned, why is he doing the disco? I was like, what are you talking about? So I will tell you that some of my favorite things is just riding in the car with the students too. Some of their, now on the way there, they're going to talk to you the whole time. On the way back, you're going to see their eyelids and the roof of their mouth, but it just is how it is. So I thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for that. We have a book from our Jill's Books collection.
Yay.
Beside us, and this is your third,
Woohoo! I'm in a Hall of Fame.
and that's for this for
Oh, thank you.
today.
You know where these came from.
That's a little quick. Okay, while Catherine is signing, I know you all have to get back to things in your day. I want to thank the special guests for coming today. Leisha, Shadana, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you again for having us at Juneteenth. And we have a new club member here today among us. Would you mind standing up and introducing yourself to everyone? She's part of our satellite club team. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy Cummins. Actually, I'm with CFT Community Service. And I also just recently got appointed as the director of the TOTS for Laurel County. So I look forward to, making that big announcement again. And looking forward to, seeing you all again. And I'm so glad working with Erin. She's teaching me a lot. So I'm with the Impact Club. And so thank you, Erin.
Thank you so much, Kathy. And quick reminder, next week's club meeting is a social. It's going to be at the Mary Vinson Memorial Library Annex, 5:30 to 7 p.m. Is that right? 5:30 to 7? Okay, and then Mary Vinson Memorial Library Annex, Hancock Street. Yeah, it's right next to City Hall building. Yeah. Okay, so that's next Thursday. It's going to be a social instead of a regular club meeting. And we're going to have a presentation about Jill's books. Is that right, Erin? Can you tell us a little bit?
Special announcements about the club.
And Randy and Susan Stewart will be there also. So please plan to come out for that social. That's going to be a lot of fun. And thanks again to Kenyatta, CC, Erin, Gerald, everybody that worked so hard today on Millie Free Fridge. It is much appreciated. Thank you. And whoever wants to stay and help with the hot dogs so we can pack the fridge again, please do. Have a great day. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you so much for your help. Tamara. Yes, thank you for having me.